Satellite frequencies can be beamed to specific individuals with increased frequencies and can result in human combustion. Oh, that's why spontaneous combustion is a thing.
Oh dear, what is it? I've spontaneously combusted.
Oh, I am sorry.
Oh, it's quite all right. I've grown tired of living.
Ah, very good then.
For the best. Yes, indeed.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're dealing with a landlord who has completely lost the plot. Just as an aside, though, I wanted to ask you, has FEMA activated your 5G COVID vaccine chip yet? Because this landlord is pretty sure that it's supposed to happen today, and one tenant is not very happy. We'll watch it all unfold. We'll dig as deep as we can in the limited time that we have, and it should certainly be a treat. Mass text! Everyone! Not sure if you've heard, but there will be an emergency broadcast system, EBS, this Wednesday at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It seems most don't know. I've been following this for the last few weeks, and the concern has been brewing about it. I was going to text everyone about it today, thinking to just suggest avoiding all communication devices, cell, computer, TV, and radio for everyone, especially the COVID vaxxed, for reasons which I can't get into in this message, but am happy to elaborate with links for any part you might be wondering about. Oh yes, I'm sure those are some reputable websites we're linking to. Did you know all cell phones and wireless technologies are directed energy weapons? Oh yeah, fascinating. Tell me more. And he will. Oh, he will. But now, I'm also learning that even most newer appliances may be at risk. Some may cause fires or fry all the appliances, etc. It's kind of like Y2K all over again, isn't it? But this time just because of an EBS. There's a large swath of people deciding to believe this for whatever reason. I mean, it gets spread by memes. But when I first saw this on Twitter, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much just a shit post. Nobody actually believes it, right? Enter Gary. So, we had decided for not only everybody's safety, but also the safety of our multiple appliances, which we furnish for all of the apartments, to possibly have to replace nearly 100 appliances on Thursday. It doesn't sound like a risk we're willing to take. Yep. Just to be safe, better shut the whole building down at the inconvenience of all your tenants.
Oh dear. Well, lovely atmosphere anyway, eh?
He's a maniac. This is what happens when people become landlords, you know? They don't have a real job to go to. They can spend all day and all night diving into conspiracy theories, cavorting with like-minded individuals. Which basically just means a giant group of insane people going, yeah, it's totally gonna happen, bro. You're right, bro. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause, but we feel it will be in everyone's best interest for the whole building to be shut down for a brief 2-hour period on Wednesday. I mean, this does happen a lot in the Philippines, but that's a completely different type of incompetence. This is pure insanity. Just in case. Cite your sources. Oh, and he does. Oh, and we'll get there. This is greater than the 24-hour notice that we guarantee everyone in their lease of notification that we intend to enter your apartment and shut off your power for this time frame between 1:30 to 2 p.m. Then we will return and restore your power after 4 p.m. And why are we doing all of this? Because of an emergency broadcast system network test. He is a crazy person. He is if Chuck McGill was your landlord, right? I'm not crazy. I know he swapped those numbers. I knew it was 5G. What after 4G? As if I could ever make such a mistake. Never. Never. I just couldn't prove it. He covered his tracks. Got that idiot at the Federal Reserve to lie for him. You think this is something? You think this is bad? This chicanery? He's done worse. The IRS. Are you telling me that third world countries just happen to fall like that? No! He orchestrated it. COVID. He actually paid the late fees, and I saved him. And I shouldn't have. I took him in as my own tenant. What was I thinking? He'll never change. He'll never change. Ever since he showed up, always the same. Couldn't keep his hands out of the electrical sockets. But not our Fed. Couldn't be precious Feddy stealing him blind. And he gets to be a landlord? What a sick joke. I should have stopped him when I had the chance, and you have to stop him, Oh, pardon me. I think I tapped into something else there for a moment. Let's continue on with the mentally ill landlord, shall we? Frozen items should be fine if you leave the freezer door closed. It's all a solid block of ice, keeping it nice and cold in there. No worries. Is that how your freezer works? It's just completely iced out? Gotta go in there with an ice pick to pull out a nice ice cream cone? Maybe try defrosting your freezer sometime. No, you don't know. You don't know. That's what the Federal Reserve wants you to do. I'll link you to a website that will elucidate, elaborate, maybe make you lose all hope in humanity. It will also be daylight between 2 and 4, so no need for lights, etc. Yeah, that's what I need electricity for. The lights. Not the magic box that sits on my desk and allows me to make money through a series of tubes called the internet. And it does happen in the Philippines, and I have no recourse about it, but if I had a Gary that I could be mad at for it, I definitely would. It is also recommended that you inform others of this situation. Yeah, make people think that you're just as crazy as me. For the vaxxed, it may be potentially fatal. Oh, that's fine. We can clean your blood right out. Apply the leeches! We apologize for any inconvenience. Good thing it's only for a short 2 hours. If you are here, I highly recommend you not just turn the power off with your cell phone, but turn off the Wi-Fi and cell reception as well. I really hope that nobody's chip's been activated while they're watching the video, because if somebody died while watching my videos, that's pretty creepy. Although we might be able to harness the eternal power of their souls. OP replies to this long-winded and really strange diatribe just by saying, hey, 2 hours of no power puts my job at risk. I think that's smart. Real flat statement. We don't want to go into the whole COVID vaccine thing. Just like, hey, don't shut the power off, man. I gotta work. Luckily, my job allows me to work whenever I'd like. But yeah, OP's job might not be the same. And we're doing all this because we read on a website somewhere that the emergency broadcast system was going to activate everybody's COVID vaccine. I don't buy it, man. I could believe in some tall tales, but this? There is not even a trace amount of science in what you're saying. Anyway, OP's girlfriend also responds to the diatribe saying, is there an option to opt out of this? I appreciate the concern, but with both of us working from home, this isn't really feasible for us. Opt out, peasants! I own the building! You will all be subjected to my wacky conspiracy theories. I really hate this whole situation. I would probably just grin and bear it, let my boss know that my landlord's a psychopath, But bringing it to the attention of Reddit is good too. Now we can all laugh together. Gary responds to them both saying, I am so sorry. It might be a good idea to set up shop for the couple of hours or the day with a friend. This is people's lives that we are worried about.
Are you kidding me?
This is such heavy Plague Doctor vibes. It's the perfect voice. Truth is, Gary's not scared about people's lives. Truth is, Gary's dumb enough to believe this shit and just doesn't want to buy a new series of washers and dryers for the apartment buildings, right? Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe this is a day and a video that will go down in infamy. But I don't know, Gary. I'm finding it really hard to get on board. I'm sorry, there is no way to opt out. And you know I've never demanded anything before, but this is a real concern. In your mind, I'm sure it is. But you're talking like a crazy person right now, Gary. Can't you see logic? He can't, dude. He's far too deep. OP says, Gary, my job deals with HIPAA information. There are requirements that I have to have for my job. Setting up shop isn't really an option for me. I have a legal responsibility to my job. They can monitor my IP address as well, so I can't go anywhere else. My job also deals with people's lives. This is not something I want to play around with. Who are all these people's lives that are hanging in the balance? It seems like OP and Gary are both using them for their own devices, doesn't it? OP seems like the slightly less evil out of the two during this comparison, but I'm at least halfway inclined to believe you could call your boss up and be like, hey, this thing's happening and it's dumb, I know, but my landlord's just a maniac.
I'm a maniac on the floor.
Maybe that inconveniences your boss or Gary, but Gary's like, yeah, I'm just gonna shut the whole apartment building down. You shouldn't be here anyways, 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. Why don't you guys go out and get a job? It's like, how about you, Gary? Your job comes around on the 1st. That's it. I don't know, bro. This whole thing is really ridiculous. But it only continues to sink further and further into insanity. Gary says, storms happen and power might go out. So do acts of terrorism. Sad emoji. Are you saying that FEMA is issuing this EBS broadcast as an act of terrorism against its own country? Is that what you're saying right now, Gary? Or implying, I guess. Okay. I sincerely apologize, but I am not asking permission. Lives may be at stake here. It may cause great harm. Spontaneous combustion with appliances as well. Yeah, that's totally gonna happen, I'm sure. Just everybody's microwave across the country bursting into flame. Think of the chaos. And that chaos might be rife with opportunity. This is why I'm trying my best to give as much advanced warning as possible. OP just says, you know what? K. That's really all you can do. Arguing with an idiot, they're gonna drag you down to their level. It's not worth the cost of my own sanity, alright? Do whatever you're gonna do, Gary. Psychopath. Gary says, I can't tell you how sorry I am. I'm happy to give you reference material. You might be able to research it. But lately, even my fallback search engines to get truth are starting to fail. OP says, yeah, I'm good. Big thanks, but no thanks on that one, Care Bear. I'm going to build a Faraday cage around the world to save us from the chicanery of Commonwealth Edison. We simply cannot have any General Electric meters attached to our houses, or else the terrorists win! Haven't you heard, OP? Cell phones and all wireless technologies are directed energy weapons. Oh my god. This person is in a position of authority over you in some way? I couldn't do it. I'm not even putting in the 1 month notice. I'm moving out under the cover of night, like now. What happens once this landlord sells all these apartments to Chinese businessmen in order to finance a space laser on the moon? Because that's where this is going. I'm pretty sure. Is that how you want to live, OP? Under the rule of Chinese businessmen? I'm pretty sure my social credit score is going down even mentioning it.
这千振不拔的纪录片在香港这座城市的设置。
电视速度进行，一冰淇淋速度进行，速度进行。
Gary continues, but multiple sites are talking about the concern of the EBS test. Thank you again, and I am deeply sorry. Spread the word as well, because the vaxxed are most at risk to harm or injury, or possibly even worse. Evil things were put in those. Another sad face emoji. Or emoticon, rather. That's how the really, really old people do it. He really wants to bait you into a conversation like, ask me what was in your COVID vaccine. So he can link you to some shady website for quote-unquote truth. And there's actually a large swath of stuff on the truthy websites that I believe, because it isn't too far outside the realm of possibility. You can see how all the dots are connected together. But this? There is no through line whatsoever. Did you know COVID vaccines are connected to the emergency broadcast system? Really? And then Gary sends an email. I guess OP did request those sources, or they were sent unsolicited. The latter option does seem the most likely. And then Gary says, I am so sorry. I sent the link to the wrong article. Here is a link to the right article that is in depth about the emergency broadcast system test only. I did not intend to send you that first article that had way too much information that people may want to know. I think he meant to say may not want to know. It's just a little Freudian slip there. Here is the correct link. My apologies, and stay safe. Does anybody find Gary a reassuring personality? I really don't. I want to get away from him as quickly as humanly possible. Well, hey, I'm pretty curious about what this article is all about. I like new sources of information and learning things. So let's take a quick look at this very official website, AMG News. This is an article written by Medea Greer. There's way too many E's in that name. That's not a real person. Warning! The emergency broadcast alert EBS system set to activate on October 4th, 2013. This test may not be what you think. May not be. Great way to slip yourself out of a lawsuit there. Understand what you may face and take action. Yeah, unplug all your tenants' electrical appliances. And then they have this infographic, which is just peak graphic design is my passion right here.
Graphic design is my passion.
How much did you pay somebody for that pile of shit? And right at the top, we see Medea Greer, an independent publisher. Oh, so even the website doesn't want to take credit for the things that we're about to hear. Cool. The article is fairly long at a 21-minute read time, and I just do not have the mental space to devote to this. But allow me to select for you some highlights. So the first couple questions, what is the test? When will it happen? We've covered that. But when it comes to the third question, why are the emergency alert systems being tested? We quickly start to fall off the rails. So, according to FEMA, the purpose of the test on October 4th is to ensure that each system continues to effectively warn the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. People need to understand that there's more behind this test than we're being told. Super vague. Make sure to unplug your microwave. People also need to understand that FEMA is not federal. FEMA manages the aftermath of pre-planned attacks. So you think Hurricane Katrina, the flooding of New Orleans, was a pre-planned attack?
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
I would love to have that elaborated on. FEMA is a lethal agency that creates emergencies so they can manage them and create their alleged desired lethal goals. What? What are the goals? How are they creating the emergencies? If they were able to do it through a wireless frequency broadcast, why wouldn't they just do that? They're just rolling it out for the first time right now, and we just happen to catch wind of it. I'm not believing it. Backdoor access to your wireless devices has been secretly granted to create a blacklist of individuals to target. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was on it. Is Ghislaine Maxwell on it? Can federal agents backdoor connect to your wireless devices and map out the interior of your house and how many people are inside of it using radio frequencies? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can. But how does that help to create a blacklist? You don't even know who those people are. There's 4 anonymous people in this house. Okay, put them on the list. The World Economic Forum has been quietly granted backdoor access to billions of cell phones as part of a plot to compile blacklists of users who hold politically incorrect views and commit wrong speak. Oh, this is just Gary feeling guilty that his chickens will come home to roost. He doesn't want to get targeted by the blacklist. That's gonna be a real big list. Wrong think is like, it's just everywhere. Everything is wrong think to some other group, right? Is that view of the world too nuanced? I'm sure it is. Targeted individuals for many years have been tracked, monitored, injured, and murdered from many devices, including, but not limited to, cell phones. Bro, at this point, why do people even bother carrying guns? We can just radio frequency each other to death? I don't think I have that app. When electronic devices are in close proximity, they can exchange an individual's full ID between electronic devices. After a period of time, it can analyze the ID stored in the electronic device and generate a social credit score. After a subsequent period of time, they can change the individual's partial ID with a new one, reflecting information garnered from the cell phone as a result of the emergency broadcast system. Oh my god, some of these things may be like partially true. Social credit score, okay, yeah, I seen it. But to then take the leap that electronic devices are exchanging people's entire identity between each other, am I supposed to believe that my social security number is linked to the IMEI number of my cell phone? What if I change cell phones? What if somebody decides to scrape this data at some point? You think identity theft criminals wouldn't have figured that one out already? And then we make it even more ludicrous by assuming that even if these identities were exchanged, there's then some giant secret system that compares and contrasts and analyzes all these IDs, cross-references where you fit within the social credit score system. No, dude, it's not even necessary. Social media has done the work for us, okay? You want to know what somebody's about? Go on their Twitter. Check out their YouTube channel. It's all right there. God, I wish Gary had a YouTube channel. I would watch it. The article then goes into a bunch of random crap pasted from Wikipedia talking about what'll happen during the test, details on the various tests that they will run. And then we get slapped with this line, which is what made me want to try and cover this article. Cell phones and all wireless technologies are directed energy weapons. So is your microwave. Be careful of that Hot Pocket. It might make your head explode, man. Targeted individuals' phones can be pulsed at higher, deadly frequencies. Satellite frequencies can be beamed to specific individuals with increased frequencies and can result in human combustion. Oh, that's why spontaneous combustion is a thing.
Oh dear, what is it? I've spontaneously combusted.
Oh, I am sorry.
Oh, it's quite all right. I've grown tired of living.
Ah, very good then.
For the best. Yes, indeed.
If that were the case, don't you think the list of people who have been recorded spontaneously combusting would contain political dissidents, leaders of edgy militia movements, something like that? No, most of them are just, they're everyday Joes. But I'm sure they were deep into thought crime, weren't they, Gary? I don't even know what to do with all this. Keep in mind that all porous materials are packed with heavy metals from years of geoengineering. This includes metals in all foods, water, and the air, which can now cause spontaneous human combustion. Yes, definitely. Spontaneous combustion is a relatively new phenomenon. And if you couldn't tell, it is indeed heavy sarcasm. The first case of spontaneous human combustion was recorded in Milan in the late 1400s, when a knight named Polonius Vostius allegedly burst into flames in front of his own parents. But I'm sure his parents sent that satellite up there. Come on, man. Porous materials are packed with heavy metals from geoengineering. You're just throwing words together. None of this means anything. There's no scientific proof backing up any of this. You made a website and allowed a quote-unquote independent publisher to publish their schlock onto it. And poor mushheads like Gary with their room temperature IQ and somehow an apartment full of tenants keeping him going. He's gonna end up buying into this. He's gonna click every ad in the sidebar. But hey, money moves the world, I guess. Now let's hear about smart meters. The global smart grid can be pulsed. Wireless electric meters, gas meters, and water meters are likely to be pulsed on October 4th during FEMA's emergency alert broadcast. Pulsed by what, exactly, article writer? What are you pulsing it with? Radio frequencies? Huh, well that's interesting. I was pretty sure the FCC was put in charge to stop things like that from happening, so certain frequencies don't interfere or interact. But the FCC's probably in on it too. Oh, okay. Then let's pretend that that's true. And you tell me why the federal government of a country would benefit from decimating the entire native population. Well, they've got a population ready to go. That's why you see so many immigrants coming and taking our jobs. I don't think it's gonna happen the way you think it's gonna happen. But yes, tell me more about the pulsing of the smart grid. The wireless smart meters can be remotely pulsed with increased frequencies and injure and kill in our homes, businesses, and all other buildings. You mean even warehouses? Oh my god. I live in a warehouse. This is dire news for me indeed. Also, oh yeah, just keep going, you're on a roll. Also, transient frequencies can be sent into internal electric wiring, which can travel into the air and into us. This is dirty electricity. Even if you don't have a smart meter on your home, the neighborhood area network, houses near you with smart meters, creates densified, deadly frequencies. Densified? Your f***ing head is densified. I can't with this, dude. They don't want to define anything except for what a neighborhood area network is. Those are houses near you with smart meters. Yeah, I probably could have put that one together, genius. What are the frequencies? I don't know, just keep saying pulse and frequencies and hopefully the idiots will believe us. They definitely got Gary. Oh my god. And then there's this infographic, dirty electricity, dirtyelectricity.net. It's got a flaming skull. Yeah, we just ripped the frame out of Ghost Rider and pasted it over some power lines. Is it spooky enough?
No! It's just dumb.
Well, it certainly got me. Yeah, we made it orange too, so it's super eye-catching. This is so stupid. Dirty electricity will kill you. Nah, you're not doing it right. You're supposed to threaten my loved ones as well. Electrical pollution is not something we see, smell, taste, or touch. Yet it has become the greatest polluting element in the Earth's environment. Gosh, you'd think the scientists would come up with like an actual better name for it than just like dirty electricity. Yeah, it's electricity, but it's dirty, and it'll kill you. Dr. Sam Millam is a scientist, whistleblower. And a cursory Google says Dr. Sam Millam is indeed a scientist who wrote a book called Dirty Electricity, which details the frightening link between occupational exposure to electromagnetic fields, electromagnetic pollution, and human disease. Millam posits that most of the 20th century diseases of civilization, including cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and suicide, are caused by electromagnetic field exposure. George Carlin had a bit on this, right? It's like, yeah, in the before times, there was nothing in the air. Now you got all kind of radio frequencies and magnetic fields and X-rays just flying through the air. And I think they were always flying through the air is the truth, and we've just managed to harness them in some form or fashion. I will say living under power lines, it's not a good idea. The health effects of that have been documented. But somehow I don't think what he says in the book is anything similar to what is being said in this infographic. Maybe it is. Maybe he's a total quack. I haven't read the book. All I can really confirm is that he has some credentials in epidemiology and that he did write a book. Going back to the infographic, we have a supposed quote. This is an industry cover-up of the toxic facts by electric utility companies, the cell phone industry, public utility commissions, state health departments, and the FDA. Well, yeah, again, like, nobody wants to tell you that it's bad to live under power lines, because then nobody's going to want the power lines built through their neighborhoods, right? I don't know, I'm getting off in the weeds now. The basic frequency on the power lines of electrical power delivered to our homes and other buildings is now increased with an added higher frequency, polluting electrical voltage and currents, delivering that higher frequency power into the wiring and into the devices of our homes, offices, and schools. Oh my god, I gotta take it back to like 8th grade science class. Frequency is not a component of electricity, okay? You've got watts, volts, amps, and ohms. How much power is being generated? Watts. The force behind the flow of electrons? Volts. The rate at which electrons are flowing? Amps. And the resistance to the flow of current? Ohms. Turning up the frequency of electricity, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. How does it change this equation? I'm sorry. I hate to be ever the skeptic, but the science doesn't check out. Dirty electricity doesn't need a direct wire connection. It connects through the air, traveling into the human body from the wiring that carries the power. Sorta, maybe, yeah, living under power lines is a bad idea. That's all I've gotten from this whole thing. Once in the body, these high frequencies can cause cancer and many other diseases. Smart meters, cell towers, cell antennas, cell phone chargers, computers, copiers are a few common sources of dirty electricity. Dirty electricity will damage the entire human population. That's right. What you want is that good old homegrown energy. like from the sun or a windmill. Then you're not taking handouts from big power. Do you understand that what you're saying is insane? There's a kernel of truth, as there are to most conspiracy theories, but it's a bridge too far, all right? I can't. Frequencies are in the air. Also, many building codes do not have ground rods that are driven into the earth. Oh, that's what'll save you. Like I say, you just have to turn the entire building into a Faraday cage and you're good to go. Many current codes only require the grounding into the concrete foundation. However, earth-driven rods are preferred to ground. You should ask Gary about it. Just get back at the landlord. Just be like, hey, is our foundation have an earth-driven rod under it? The effective earth-driven grounding sends the frequencies into the ground, transferring the EMF away. Most grounding is not what it should be, which adds to dirty electricity. Holy God. You're just going against everything that humans have known about electricity for hundreds of years. You stood on the shoulders of giants and promptly jumped off to your own death. What are you talking about? On October 4th, it's advised that you distance yourself from neighborhoods and city areas. Try to find a location where you have no cell coverage and put your cell phone into a mission darkness military EMF bag where frequencies are prevented. Remember, you cannot turn your cell phones off to prevent cell towers continuing to pulse and connect to your phone. I'm really surprised there's not an affiliate link to the Mission Darkness military EMF bag. I'm gonna do all you guys a favor and pin that in a comment for you. And if you actually buy it or anything else through Amazon after clicking that link, I get a little kickback. You don't pay anything more. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Gary, for allowing me this delicious plug opportunity. He's like, plug! Did you say plug? You have to unplug it! We're all going to die if you took the vax! You might be too far gone. We are really just cherry-picking our facts at this point. Cell phones are weapons! Oh, okay. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a subtitle for this section of the article, but they don't talk about cell phones being weapons. Like I said, I thought that would be really cool. Maybe I should develop an app for that. Article goes on, blah, blah, blah. Opt out of your wireless smart meter. Landlords, be advised. Your utility company is trying to violate your HVAC warranty. Okay, keep going. Eliminate all wireless devices. This would include hands-free phones, which need to be corded. When the EMF is measured, these hands-free phones test similarly to cell phones. Oh my God, I've got a cordless phone in my house. My daughter's using it right now. And I go downstairs and rip it out of the wall because the mental illness has taken hold. It's literally Chuck McGill.
I am not crazy.
Caution with all the light bulbs, including LED lights and new thermostats that can be controlled by your utility. It doesn't even say how to take caution. It just says, hey, be cautious around those light bulbs. Okay, what are they gonna do? Explode and shower me in shards of glass? That might be kind of exciting. And then the microwave lights on fire? Dude, I'm kind of looking forward to this, honestly. Also, caution! Wireless baby monitors! Oh my God, not the baby monitors! Also, note, many baby monitors were hacked, and growling noises were transmitted into the baby's rooms. Gosh, that growling sounds an awful lot like radio static. Wrap cell phones in Mylar multiple times until the phone will not ring. Turn off all Wi-Fi. Best to hardwire all devices. It's exactly what I said about the Faraday cage. Unplug everything typically plugged into outlets. Get a surge protector. Turn off and unplug your internet router, smart and non-smart TVs, printers, or any other wireless devices that's able to connect wirelessly or not connect wirelessly. Wait, so we're supposed to unplug the surge protector? Buy yourself a surge protector and unplug it. You have to unplug all devices that can connect wirelessly or not connect wirelessly. Why don't you just say you have to unplug all devices? Every device falls into one of those two categories, okay? If you have Energy Star kitchen appliances like refrigerators, freezers, stoves, dishwashers, and microwaves, unplug all devices, along with stoves. Yeah, you mentioned that. Or was it just specifically Energy Star stoves? I'll tell you what. How about you formulate your thoughts and you go ahead and get back to me. Try writing another article that actually makes sense. Please consult an electrician about actions you plan to take. That's right. We don't want the website to get sued. That's why this was all written by an independent publisher, you see? Keep in mind these appliances work in tandem with your wireless smart electric meter, sending frequencies pummeling through your homes and you, while your electric usage is ultimately collected by your smart electric and gas meters. Oh yeah? What do they do with this data that's being collected? Well, I don't know, but they shouldn't be collecting it. I mean, I do tend to agree, but I don't see how it's that egregious. Dirty electricity is another huge danger. Yeah, we covered this shit, man. The things that aren't directly just copy-pasted from Wikipedia are repeated so many times that I would presume they're expecting me to believe it based on the amount of times that they say it. We have found it helpful to use Graham Stetzer filters that plug into your indoor outlets, sending frequencies back out through your electrical wiring. Stetzer Electric Inc. Okay, another affiliate link there. Thank you so much. You're really dropping the bag on this one, American Media Group. Media Greer. This is basic stuff. Marketing for dummies. How much could they actually have paid you for this schlock? The above is a list of actions you can consider, and it's not all inclusive. Now, can we please make it all inclusive? I want to be sure that me and my family are completely safe from the emergency broadcast system. The wireless alerts will become non-stop and continually alert folks daily about various weather weapon events. Weather weapon events. You know what? That's a whole other rabbit hole I'm not going to go down right now. Financial crises, community unrest, power outages, water shortages, floods, droughts. The alert is endless. Well, I don't care about all that. Will it at least transmit to my Amazon Alexa that we're out of black ant powder and need to buy more? Because that could really streamline my life. Folks will suffer from blood shock and fear and be easily manipulated by those that are targeting our communities with alerts while attacking global populations with directed energy weapons. Blood shock, huh? Is that the scientific term? I would have called it hypovolemic shock? Hemorrhagic shock? Something like that? Nah, just blood shock. Gotta dumb it down for the room temperature IQs. The richest irony of all in that paragraph is probably something about folks being easily manipulated. Like, that's your entire demographic for this news article. Quote unquote news article. We could just get in there and name a bunch of scary stuff and they'll do whatever we want. Come on. Like I said, Gary bought into it, but this is literally probably some of the dumbest shit that I've ever heard. Late night phone alert tells Mendocino County to brace for 4.7 magnitude earthquake. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Yeah, that sounds like a good thing. You've got a couple of seconds before the seismic wave reaches you. Or is this part of their weather weapon events? Is this almost over? It's not. It's really not. Solar installations are grid tied with a wireless smart meter, with the understanding that users will get their unused electricity rebated off their electric bills, i.e. credits. Do not use lithium-ion batteries for anything solar, because these batteries are highly combustible and can be hit with directed energy weapons to ignite and explode. God, it's getting harder and harder to live off the grid these days, isn't it? Now I gotta be careful of all these directed energy weapons flying around. You sound like a crazy person. I should know. I often sound like a crazy person. But when it's too crazy for me, you know, one flew over the cuckoo's nest. The FEMA executive orders allows Housing and Finance Authority to relocate community, build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for, allows our just didn't even finish the sentence. New locations for? Are you gonna say FEMA camps? Please say FEMA camps. The re-education will begin directly after the disaster we've orchestrated. For what? What is the purpose of all of this? Allows our de facto corporate government to take over all models of transportation and control of highways and seaports. Allows our de facto corporate government to seize and control the communication. And there's no period on that sentence, so it might have gone on, might have been cut off. I don't know what's happening anymore. Allows our de facto corporate government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. Oh God, not the minerals. I thought they were just rocks.
Now, they're minerals. Jesus, Marie, I got some geodes coming that are very delicate, all right?
And the final point allows our de facto corporate government to take over all food resources and just how is anybody taking this seriously? You just that's it. I love this so much. We've seen a lot of dumb stuff on this channel, but holy God, this might be the dumbest of all. And here's a huge list of health symptoms from all wireless devices, including military weaponization of the atmosphere, component of chemtrails. Oh yeah, chemtrails, that's a thing that I've heard of too. How does that tie into all of this? I don't care. So yes, if you have allergies, depression, jumpy pets, psoriasis, lupus, leukemia, dehydration, it's because of the wireless devices in your house, guys. No matter how much water you drink, you'll still be dehydrated. You gotta unplug your Wi-Fi, dudes. You gotta sleep in a Faraday cage or you'll definitely get cancer. This list of symptoms is so wide, it possibly affects everybody on the planet, and I think that's their goal. You look at it and go, oh, loss of employment, it's because of the wireless devices. My blood-brain barrier's compromised because of the 5G. I just don't get it. The people who made it don't even really get it. They're just spreading misinformation because I guess there's ads running on the side, but this garbage is not even like that heavily monetized. All right, last one from the list. This is my favorite one. Lifespan decreases by plus or minus 8 years. Decreases by minus, that means it goes up, right? I'm leaving my Wi-Fi plugged in forever. Learn where you're being targeted. What's a cell tower and how does it work? I'm good, dude. I'm so good. It's just a bunch of stuff copy-pasted from Wikipedia again. Macro cells, micro cells, and pico cells. Yep, more copy-pasted cell tower information. Tools for finding cell towers. Why? So you could stay away from the frequencies. You know what? I'm just gonna move into the middle of nowhere. The full, uninterrupted Unabomber manifesto will be the last video uploaded on this channel, and I'm gonna go live in the middle of the jungle. The frequencies are never gonna get me. Here are some steps to get started with Cell Mapper, cell phone apps, I don't care, websites, FCC map. Oh, now we trust the FCC, okay. Important message on October 4th, please watch our video. Well, guess what? They're already watching my video, suckers. It does seem like the end of the article. We made it, everyone. It's just a giant link swarm. Nothing was said. I feel dumber for having read it. I definitely went further than Gary did in this article. How did things ever get this bad, you know? So yeah, I don't know if OP clicked the link. Probably not. But he just sends Gary an eye roll emoji. Which honestly, can't blame him for that one. Gary says, yes, sorry about the head explosion article. Sad emoticon. Can you send me the head explosion article? AMG News is so full of conspiracy theories. We're probably going to go back there. I loved digging through and debunking the entire thing. I hope it wasn't too boring for you guys, because it does make up the majority of the video. But if right in the middle of all that crap we had a head exploding thing, oh, it would have made the video so much better. OP says FEMA literally stands for Federal Emergency Management Agency and is part of the Department of Homeland Security. I mean, I do hate alphabet agencies, but I don't want to be seen backing up Gary on this one. Gary says, oh, don't get me started, lol. OP says, ditto. Letting Gary think that they're on the same wavelength, but they're really not. Nobody's on Gary's wavelength. Gary way out there in space, whoa! I'm Landlord Demon, whoa! OP's girlfriend says, hey, we'll be heading out of here in just a minute. The only thing I ask is to please ensure the power is back on at the scheduled time. The dogs will be here, and I don't want them going without power any longer than necessary. Thanks. Hell yeah, dude, the dogs want to watch TV. Gary says, I understand. I'm trying my best to provide a time tool. I have an egg timer. An egg timer. Perfect. I think Gary's just a very old and very confused fellow. I don't know what 5G is and it scares me, damn it. I'm old and unhappy. I don't understand how things work anymore. I know, Gary. Just take a deep breath. Yeah. I have an egg timer. But when it's around 4 and it hasn't come on yet, please come knock on my door and I will respond quickly. I like how he says when it's 4 and it hasn't come back on. Like that's just an inevitability. Better keep it off for 6 hours, just to be safe. Lives hang in the balance, don't you recall? OP's girlfriend says, I'm not sure that we'll be home right around 4, but if we are, I'll come knock. Gary, okay, please turn car radio off. You may want to avoid the sound at least. That may be a very harmful frequency. Yeah, that's how the frequencies get you, through your ear holes. You're so smart, Gary. This is some madness coming straight out of Kentucky. Somehow I'm not all that surprised by that. Let's check out some of the comments on this Reddit thread. Here, the plot thickens significantly further. Somebody says, oh my God, check your messages. My husband and I used to live there, and I know exactly who you're talking about. Edit, just finished your post, and I still live in your town. Please reply as urgently as you can. I can help you find another living situation in this town, and advise you on what Gary is about to do. What is Gary about to do? Well, Thief Maestro, spouse of the Andy comment I just read, paints us quite a picture. Andy's my wife. We just got off the phone with Games. Gary has a long history of being a complete narcissistic schizo. Oh, really? I wasn't picking up the narcissism. All he wanted to do was inconvenience an entire apartment building full of tenants for the sake of his conspiracy theories. I let OP know that Gary is likely to slap an eviction notice on his door first thing in the morning, seeing as they had a verbal confrontation. It's what Gary did to Andy and myself. We lived on the 3rd floor of Gary's apartment building and repeatedly tried to get some help from Gary because we had bats roosting in our ceiling and literal bat turds were falling out of a crack in the ceiling of the hallway. He refused to take action. Actually, it's called guano and plants love it. Put a ficus under the hole in the ceiling and all will be remedied in the morning. Eventually I found a place that would come out for a free estimate while I was at work, and I sent their info to Gary. Got a snarky reply from Gary, and came home from work to find an eviction notice on my door. And there is so much more, but I don't feel like typing it all out. You think bat poop falling out of the ceiling is bad? You didn't quite get enough cringe from that while Andy comes back to explain a little more about Gary. Okay. So what he's about to do is slap a nice eviction notice on their door because they got into a verbal altercation. He used to do that all the time with my husband and I when him and my husband would get into it. The last eviction notice he gave us was because we brought up the bats in our ceiling. But let us get into this completely, shall we? Oh, yes, let's shall. Gary is this icky, creepy little man that lives in the basement of the apartment complex. Yeah, all that checks out so far. Just scrolling conspiracy theories till the wee hours of the morning. What else can you do when you only work one day a month? I don't know, Gary. Go outside, touch grass, get a hobby. Like, this is not okay. The building is like 1,000,000 years old and it's falling apart. Gary refuses to update or repair anything. The roof is literally slowly caving in. He was told years ago that he needed to replace the roof and refused to do it. So now, years later, winter after winter with heavy snow and ice weighing the roof down even more. Not to mention, one winter, the ice and snow literally took the back gutters off the place, which left the attic and roof completely exposed to water, so now there is water damage in the ceilings, which I guess explains the crack where all the bats poop in. Literal room temperature IQ. How did he get this far? Was he left this series of apartment complex by his successful parents because they were sure that Gary couldn't make it in the real world? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. OP says, yeah, he is a total creep as well. I came home from work one day and he grabbed a piece of my hair and twirled it around his finger and asked if I had done something different with my hair. Bro, he took it back into his little basement apartment and smelled it, I'm sure. He has got a hair doll of this user somewhere in his apartment. Guarantee, put all my money on it. And y'all think the aluminum foil hack is bad? Talking about Faraday cages again. Gary's solution to a constant clogged toilet is to literally cut up your poop so it'll flush easier. Oh yeah, you don't have a poop knife in your house, user? We should cover the poop knife post one of these days. It's been done to death, but it belongs on the ReddX channel, probably more than any other post, honestly. Call a plumber out, couple $100. Buy a poop knife, you could get that for $1.50. That's just economical. Gary treats his maintenance man like crap. They're almost always arguing, and Gary always ends up getting thrown into a wall. He tried to hire a younger maintenance man that didn't have as many health issues, but he quit literally 2 days later because Gary refused to pay him more than $5 an hour. Federal minimum wage is $7.25 last I checked. If he's not repairing the apartment or anything, where is all this money going? Gary has a gambling problem. Gary has an OnlyFans addiction. Something weird is going on with Gary. Buying too much black ant powder. Again, affiliate link down below. Thank you. Gary is just a total narcissistic control freak, especially on the 4th of July. God bless America. One year, my husband and I went to a neighbor's house to watch a fireworks show, and Gary called the police. The police showed up and told them there was nothing they could do because it was the 4th of July. He flips out on the police officer and runs back into his apartment after the police officer tried to arrest him. This guy's a total nuisance and a complete loon. We can all confirm after just the briefest brush. Is he calling the police to like try and stop the fireworks? He's like, don't you know you're distributing heavy metals into the atmosphere? It all loops back around, doesn't it? Y'all want to know the real kicker? One night, me, my husband, and his friend were sitting out back in what he called the patio area, which was literally just lawn chairs on the grass. Mind you, it was like 2 a.m. Gary walks up to us and literally offers my husband and his friend a whole $100 to, quote, get rid of a problem tenant, told them, by whatever means necessary, because he couldn't currently evict her due to COVID. Dude, for $100, my husband and his friend told him that he was literally nuts. He really thinks this is the power of money, that he's better than other people and he can do as he pleases. The more we're hearing about Gary, the more I can confirm, yes, narcissistic tendencies. So, to make a long story short, I am definitely not Gary, thank God, Lamau, just somebody who had no choice at the time and was desperate for a place to live. This poster spouse comes back in again to add just a little bit more. Yeah, I'm the husband, can confirm, lol. Not to mention the time we had a major gas leak on the top floor, and he refused to do anything or even come look at it because his 70-year-old maintenance guy, quote, couldn't smell anything. Or the time he wigged out on me, calling the fire department when a ground floor caught fire because he, quote, didn't want to deal with the firefighters. Dude, firefighters are like the best people ever. What are you talking about? Probably his guild was busy raiding on World of Warcraft. He's like, I don't have time for this. Gary had evicted us once prior before our second and final eviction, literally just because we were bringing up legitimate issues that needed to be fixed, and he couldn't be bothered. He ended up walking that notice back before delivering a second one like 2 months later. There's still so much more I could get into, but I feel like you guys get the picture. No, come on, a little bit more. And he complies. The building itself is probably 70 years old and served as a giant makeshift crack house, abandoned, for about 10 years before Gary bought it. Where did Gary even get the money to buy? He doesn't seem like he'd be functional in society in like any capacity. 70 years old, as if I could ever forget. Nice +1. Thief Maestro did this to himself and I let him get away with it. He's the one who planted the bat poop in the ceiling and he'll do it again. I love this. This is my favorite video in probably a long time. Actually, Moby Vic yesterday was pretty good too. Anyway, Gary did as little as he could to fix it up before he started renting. Hell, there was furniture tainted with C. diff from a tenant that he has stored in a fire escape for close to 10 years now. Tainted with C. diff, like somebody diarrheaed all over the furniture and he just stuck it on the fire escape. What happens if there's an actual fire? He's not going to use the fire escape just because he doesn't want to deal with the firefighters. This burned me alive. It's been over for a long time. And also his one and only maintenance guy has no certificates or degrees to be doing electrical or plumbing work or anything else. 0 certificates. He only does the maintenance so he can stay there for free, and only stays there for free as long as he continues to do the maintenance work. I'm done for real now, though. Lol. There is y'all's tea. Don't you know, Thief Maestro, that tea is just a foul soup with leaves in it? This is one of the most concerning things ever. This human being is in charge of the lives of tens of people, and he takes no shame in evicting them or upsetting their schedules because of something that he read on the internet. Something tells me Reddit is going to get behind this one. Something tells me that Reddit is going to make some things happen. I already made a video on it. Awareness is starting to spread. Gary in Kentucky, whew, you're not long for this world, I'll tell you. And maybe it's for the best. Maybe once we're living out of our car, we could have a real big reality check. Not that I want that to happen. I want you to turn it all around and join society with the rest of us. But I don't know, man. Seems like he's gone pretty far down the rabbit hole. I don't know if he's coming back out. But this has been an amazing conspiracy exploration, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it thoroughly. Click links in the description. You can click the like button if you want. There's a comment section where we could talk about more conspiracy theories. On the end card is some more experimental content that we've tried on the channel, much like this one. I hope you check it out and let me know what you thought about all of them. And of course, always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Promise, swears it's just a fact.